Hi there, my name is Grit. I'm an artist and an art therapist, and today I want to share an exercise with you that involves both your breath, your body, and a bit of drawing at the end. And the exercise has come about because I've been inspired by a client I've had who is having problems actually giving to themselves. And perhaps you find this is an issue for you as well. A lot of people find that giving out and taking in, receiving, is difficult to have a symbiosis between the two. So today I want to start off by asking you to get kind of grounded, put a sort of foot width apart between your 2 feet, and then just find a good point, sort of rock a bit from side to side, maybe sort of back to front, and just until you feel that grounding. You can even close your eyes if you want to. So once you're grounded, you have your knees a little bit soft, and then you take a couple of deep breaths. And here I would encourage you to close your eyes just to really sense what's going on inside of yourself. So close your eyes. Soft knees means that, you know, the back of your legs are not completely straight. You have a little bit of a bend. And then just take a couple of deep breaths. And then what you want to do, you can keep your eyes closed if you want to, or open them, is just feel what it feels like to you when you're giving. And try and really sense in yourself, in your body in particular, what does it feel like when I'm giving? And what movement can I make? I'm going to use my arms. I'm giving something out and I'm taking something in. And you maybe want to just kind of test it out gently. Just move your hands gently in and out. And really be present and be aware. Now, I'm giving out, doing the movement for giving out on my out breath, and breathing in on the movement for bringing something into me. Now, whether you want to make it a small movement, so you can see my hands are not moving far from my body, or maybe you want to just slowly extend the movement. You know, I can give out. Maybe you don't have a lot to give out, or maybe you don't feel you have a lot to give out to the world. Maybe you feel depleted in energy, and maybe you want to just give a little bit to the world and not so much. Maybe you feel that you have a lot to give and you come really far out with your hands, and then see what happens. So you're taking deep breaths as you're moving your hands in towards your body, if you're far out, of course, and you're breathing out long, slow breaths if you're moving your hands out. And you can also if you're not moving your hands out far because you don't feel like you have a lot to give, just move with the breath, just move your hands a little bit and just keep them steady. If your out breath hasn't finished, just keep them steady. So you're going, here my out breath has finished, and so I'm moving my hands back in. So what I want you to try and do is sense what happens in you as you're maybe trying to extend the movement a bit. It could also be that you're someone who's giving a lot to the world. There are some people who give a lot. They don't feel necessarily that they get a lot back. So try and just, I'm giving out a lot. What does it feel like then when I'm getting a lot as well? and bringing it back. Maybe you want to put your hands on your heart. I'm giving out, but I'm also getting a lot back. And remember your breath as you're doing it. Now I'm talking at the same time. Obviously you're not going to be doing that. So I'm giving out. And maybe you want to have a little pause as you're breathing in before giving a lot out. So you also can work with actually the speed. So, you know, if you feel like, you know, your breath is short, you might want to try and slow it down so that it gets longer. When you feel like you've done this and you keep doing this for a while, really feel the giving out and the receiving. What you can also do is think in your head, I'm giving out, giving, receiving, giving, receiving. And what you'll find is that if you don't have a lot to give, then you can't bring as much back to yourself either, because your hands are not far out. So this is what I mean by giving and receiving being a symbiosis, in a symbiotic relationship. So it's like your breath. The more you breathe in, the more you breathe out, the more you have to give, the bigger breath in you've taken, and the more you've received, the more you can give out. If you're giving out too much and not receiving, taking a short breath in, then you can't give out as much either. So once you've done this exercise with the breath and really felt it in yourself, then what I would encourage you to do is to turn to something big that you can draw on. Behind me here, I have a blackboard and I have some chalks that I can use to draw with, but you just use whatever you have to hand. Standing is good and drawing big is good. If you don't have anything big to draw on, you can perhaps take some newspapers and tape them together on the back so that they become really large. It really doesn't matter if there's print on it and there's pictures and text, because what you want to do is just you want to have something that you can actually draw on. You don't have to do the drawing, but it's quite nice to do the drawing. So we'll do that just now. I've picked up my chalks and I have my blackboard ready to draw on. And what we're going to do, or what I'd encourage you to do as well, is use bilateral drawing. And bilateral drawing just means that you're drawing with both your hands at the same time, and you're moving them rhythmically and simultaneously. So they're kind of doing the same movement. What I want you to do is think about the movement that you were doing, where you were moving out and bringing your hands back in, if that's what you were doing, if you weren't doing something else. But if you were doing something else, you just think of that movement that you did that signified actually giving out and bringing something back to yourself. How can I represent that with a movement on the thing I'm drawing on and what I'm drawing with? So let's get started. So I'm going to start. You're not going to be able to perhaps see what I'm doing, but I'm putting the chalks on the board in front of me, fairly low down, and then I'm moving them up, and I'm giving out and bringing back to myself, and I'm moving out, bringing back to myself, moving out, bringing back to myself, and try and breathe with it, just like you were when you were doing the movement before. So here already, I can kind of see that what my drawing is sort of showing me is that the top, where I'm thinking, this is me giving out, and then I'm receiving as I'm coming back in. The receiving is actually, interestingly, not as far out as the giving out. So perhaps, you know, I need to think more about receiving than or to get it into a symbiotic relationship with how much I'm giving out. How can I maybe pay more attention to my receiving in order to make it symbiotic? I would also encourage you to do this with your eyes closed, because otherwise you might end up simply getting too caught up in what does it look like? Am I making it beautiful? And that's not what it's about. It's more about feeling. I'm giving out. I'm receiving. I'm giving out. I'm receiving. Giving out. And receiving. So here I've tried now to put more emphasis on I'm receiving, and as you can see, you know, I'm slowly getting as far out as the top. So this is one way of working with yourself in an art therapeutic way, and I hope you will maybe give this exercise a shot and leave a comment in the description below, in the boxes below the video, and let me know if you found that this was interesting and helpful to you.